Welcome to GameBreakers. My name is Thomas. I am here with, everybody say names at once.
Simon!
Allison.
Perfect, every time. As if on cue. Allison, David, and Diamond are here playing in order Stan Smith, Click Clack, and Struana Hardjaw. And they are an adventuring party in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, A Bard's Tale. When last we left our intrepid heroes, they had been celebrating victory after a hard-won battle at the gates of the stronghold of the Crooked Tower in the center of what was once Gloom Hollow, now Bloomhaven. You won a great victory, were rewarded, and were swept up in the celebrations, the various methods of transitioning those willing into Sealy, and also having a strangely good time in all sorts of ways. It's a Feywild party, and a couple of armies were there. This goes on for a while. Time in the Feywild, a little elastic, but eventually you see up in the sky an orb appear out of sort of nothingness, like it's turning from being transparent and turning itself into a moon. And when that happens, all of the sunlight washes away from the valley and focuses on the moon. And just like that, it's nighttime. Stars fly up from the Feywild and shoot themselves off of the moon, taking their place in the sky. Bonfires rage around you, camps spring up. By the time you guys wend your way back toward the Minty Rose, Struana's newfound establishment, there is a bathhouse that has set up shop next door, and a general store on the other side of you, just selling soap and things. Just a couple of mortals actually have popped in since you were swept away, and you see that there are people dressed in the garb of the Delta Confederacy. Notably farmhands and swamp folk. What do you guys do? Trella grabs Stan's elbow as you guys are saying goodnight at the door, and she is saying goodnight to you two, and has grabbed Stan's elbow. Stan, what do you do?
She asked where we're going?
She doesn't even bring it up.
Oh.
She just presumptively took your elbow.
Yeah,
and just saying goodnight to your friends.
Bye, guys.
I start singing a farewell song, a body farewell song.
Okay.
The shanty version of "Go Get Laid Now."
I just enjoy and turn away.
Okay. She walks you up. She says, "Your place or mine?"
Yours.
All right. So you walk up the path and pass by your tower that is just barely enfolded by her tower, and as you pass by through the windows, it doesn't take much of a perception check to see that some things have changed in your house, in your instant fortress. But Trella is, if you're not going there, she's not waiting, so she takes you right up and fades to black.
Yeah, just, yep, that's them to check out later.
Right. Right. Priorities. Priorities.
Answer to the curtains.
And the camera meekly turns away and zooms back into the minty rose as you two are entering. You see one interesting familiar face there. Both of you would recognize. It is the swamp pirate captain.
The tentacle guy?
What? Did we kill him?
No, he got away clean.
Not the one we killed then. Okay.
No, he led you to an undead assassin.
Right.
With whom you spoke with dead, and all of a sudden you're on a quest.
What is he doing right now?
He is getting his pirates to practice. They have an audition. He's got 4 with him. He doesn't have a whole crew or anything.
Standing or sitting?
He's sitting and like slapping his tentacle on the table to the beat. I
kind of really want the chair to just grab him and hold on for a minute.
Okay.
I like gesture at Click Clack and stride over.
Roll me a charisma check.
It's been a while. Remind me what terms we left on with this guy.
Not bad. He kept his part of the bargain, set up the guy for the ambush for you, and then, as you expected, he ran into the night, and like, your problem now.
21. 21.
It's not like clamps or anything, but there's definitely some grip. Like as though it all of a sudden has extra formed itself to his contour.
It's like when you're really, really warm and the car seat's warm and you just stick for a minute.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Okay.
Good.
Just not encouraging him to stand up is the way I was going while striding that direction.
And he doesn't seem to notice particularly. He's focused on the thing, and he's got the half elf bartender, the bar manager, that's like watching the thing and seems to be nodding along, like, oh, okay, okay.
So I want to do a guess I'm feeling sassy tonight. Hi guys. Like an elbow slide in onto the table so that you move right in front of the person. You know?
Right.
Yeah, basically.
Oh.
Hi, fancy seeing you here. What you up to?
Oh, fancy that. Well, you see, some of me mates and I were in our swamp boat, minding our business, and mist came up, storm brewed, we heard some thunder, and then it faded off, the mist began to sparkle, then it cleared, there's a damn army fighting it was, well, we hid out for a while in the ruckus. Once it seemed more like our kind of party, we made our way down the hills. What are you doing here?
I wanted to not interrupt the flow, but partway through that, I gesture at one of the servers to. It's this bring me a drink gesture that then just shows up in my hand thing.
Right.
And
yeah, basically.
When we saw him, I don't ready my weapon, but I'm ready to ready my weapon.
Okay.
There's a visible clench.
Right, your hands back on the bow, ready to unsling it.
It's time of
He's
night where I
completely
think it is.
non-hostile.
Struana is not drunk, but she's a little toasty. If this is in the timeline from where we set last time, because there was a party.
Indeed, and you guys may have been exposed to other sorts of mind-bending hallucinations and glamours and strange bits of Feywildry in the last few hours that have left you questioning a lot of things about reality.
Yeah, essentially. Well, we're in the Feywild, like so with maybe I can do this with a sip of my drink. Like, oh me? Well, this is my establishment.
Well, hot damn. Hey, you hear that? I know your boss. And the bartender's like...
Good response. So, what do I roll for the do I believe a word he's saying?
Insight.
Insight is my bullshit detector. That's right. That makes sense.
Side note, a lot of people know the boss.
Oh my god. Alright. 15?
15?
Not a good roll.
He seems genuine.
Okay.
He's not like not stopping, not trying to make up stories. He gets sucked into the Feywild.
Happens to the best of us.
Wrong. Oh, that's what. Sorry. I was looking at my ability score, and Forged Anvil did a thing that was very confusing. For a minute, I had a much higher Constitution score than I was supposed to have.
Oh, I see.
Hence the reaction of like, that's not correct. Not correct.
All right.
Finding a different 20 though.
Well, handle.
So
seems genuine. Is legitimately like auditioning for room and board at least.
Do they do shanties or insults better?
Well, we've got a wide variety. What do you like? I've been insulting these dogs for the entirety of their careers.
I'm keeping sort of trying to keep Click Clack in my line of sight in case he like makes a reaction about anything that seems like, wow, that shouldn't happen. But I would like to. So he's auditioning for room and to get the money to do room and board, or to get the equivalent of having room and board for the night. Yeah. Yeah,
it's a safe place to sleep's a big deal in the Feywild. I see that you have no trouble on that score, but I'm used to camping in the real world, where the sorts of things that come to get you are the sorts of things you expect.
Well, regular rules of audition, absolutely. Go. It's what pleases the crowd best. There's arbitrary rules. I've made them up. Here they are. They exist. But what is your ideal kind of rest? What does that look like?
I mean, shoot the moon?
Or, at least aim at it.
Well, obviously big and comfy. Got lots of jewels encrusted on it that aren't wedged in too tight. And, I'm partial to blondes.
You'll have to talk to them yourself. That's not one I can pull.
Okay. You said to ask for everything I wanted.
That said, I'd be willing to help wager you on that if you're interested.
Oh, if it's not part of the fee, I'll take my chances. I gotta say, looking for a vouch, really, because hear stories, and we never really got into how I lost my arm the first time.
I mean, a challenge, let's say. You and me, performance of your choice. If you win, your worst case is you get standard room and board.
Great.
Or if you lose, your worst case is you get standard room and board. If you win,
Even better.
then you get a much fancier one.
Oh.
But if you lose, we get to have a private, honest conversation about things like how you lost your arm.
All right.
Okay.
Sure thing.
Does David, is Click Clack making any uncomfortable faces about this? It's worth saying that with this on, it's really hard to read all your faces in real life.
He's just. You've seen him do this thing a lot where he doesn't move, and he's just looking at a scene and waiting for Waldo to show up.
Okay. Waldo hasn't shown up as a part I'm looking for. He hasn't had a like, oh god, that's a terrible idea, I need to start preparing now kind of response.
I'm guessing not.
I'm using you as Struana sort of using you as the sober friend.
Yeah, that's business as usual.
Yeah, I know. Even in real life.
Yeah.
You make a good sober friend. It's a really important role.
Here, let me make sure that wasn't... Nope, not a fluke. Okay, I did it correctly, and the pirates rolled a 1.
Really?
on their performance. And they seem to be detoxing from something. Like, a lot of them are really jittery, and sometimes just like lose focus or like have to just run to the restroom.
I rolled a 31.
Okay. They are embarrassed to be in your presence. Like this, and again, it's one of those performances that like the doors and windows of the bar open into like the vista of the valley around you, and like animals are fluttering in and like climbing up on the windowsills to hear the noise around the valley stops, and as you end the song, the moon turns and it's morning.
The headliner was David Bowie and Prince. The opening act was an actual ham sandwich.
Thanks for letting me derail games, guys. That was fun.
So you're, it's like, well, looks like worst case scenario, right? Right.
Right.
Frank open on this conversation.
So we need to find a private room to have a really open, honest conversation. Do you want to sleep first, even though it's daytime, or wait until, it's nighttime again?
Nah, it's fine. I'm good.
Okay. Do I have to communicate with the bar verbally at this point?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you have a limited amount of control on what goes on in here, just like by the raw mutability currently of the Feywild. It's fading fast. Things are starting to like settle and solidify.
So they need to, I'll inform the workers of the establishment that they have room and board for a unspecified period of time, but they should probably practice. Maybe some egg yolk shots,
They can only get better.
Well, hey, if you'll allow a rider in the contract, I know how to make the mushroom brew that the druids were selling us. That'll get them right as rain. And pliable.
I'm pretty sure if you let them know, like, somebody connect with the head cook. You and I should have a chat.
Well, here's the thing, it's mycin and spores, so I don't know if you got a source for that. There's plenty around.
I mean, yes-ish. You sort of have to ask.
Well, I don't know what you got around.
We can absolutely consider that. It might be nice to have a fancy brew.
Sure. Well, why don't we retire to my bedroom? And we can have a chat.
Yeah.
I think it's my bedroom and you're renting it, but that's fine.
Fair cop. That's fair. Great. Well, whichever. There's a bed in it, right? I don't hate redheads. And he goes, like, looks at the number on the key and heads down the hall.
I look at Click Clack and I just eye roll really dramatically. Like, oh, this will be fun. Like, if I scream, please come stab a guy.
I might just come stab a guy anyway.
I am gonna try and figure out some, like, arm additional connections, more of what was going on there, more of the needy details.
Oh, he tells you that this isn't his first time in the Feywild. I know that I've been here. I know that I got back safe. Well, most of me did. But everything in the middle, nothing.
Well,
sorry.
So, how did you end up getting here the first place, since you remember up to?
There's a lot of places in the swamp that are extra wild, if you catch my meaning. And it's not so uncommon to take a little trip in the moonlight or through the fog.
So you took a little trip in the moonlight through the fog and ended up here. How long was it until you got back?
Oh, it had been a year. A solid year. Probably a year and a bit.
Has anyone recognized you yet?
Nope, just my boys.
And how are they handling this?
Oh, they've got their own troubles.
Like being in the Feywild?
No, mostly like not getting their dailies.
I need some help unpacking that, Thomas. I'm pretty sure Struana would have some idea what he means, but I have no idea what you mean.
You guys remember finding in his stash a pouch of potent drugs that you figured out that he was feeding to the crew that gave them that extra potent combat, but made them a little dumb and kind of pliable.
That's right. And that's the...
Not their steroids anymore.
Yeah, they're off their meds.
That is rough.
Well, when you're off your meds, you try to fix it with other meds, so...
Yeah. They'll be fine in a couple of days. They won't be as strong as they're used to being. The legs will be a little wobbly, but they'll get it back. Hopefully they remember the dance moves. Oh.
So...
Hey, either way, room and board.
I think it has been... Has it been a year? It has been a period of time since we saw you last.
Oh no. No, Struana Hardjaw, it's been about a decade.
Yeah, we're working on that. Time works differently here.
Yeah, it does. You've been gone a very long time.
I want to talk about what happened in the time we were gone, but I want to talk about where we started.
Sure.
Because I still never got a really good grasp of what you were doing or who you were working for or how everything was happening there. Just that you were willing to just aid whatever worked best to keep your skin on, which is admirable because your skin is mostly still on.
And my pocket's full. And
Fair.
my pocket's full.
I think I have like a mini keg in this room that I can just like keep pouring from, knowing my constitution is significantly better than his, probably.
Right.
A mini bar.
Mini keg. They're like this big. They're great.
I didn't have any long-term relationship with that thing you killed in the swamp. Thanks for that, by the way. Kept my skin in mostly one piece, and I managed to refill my pockets later.
Oh, thing is, he wasn't the only one. There were a chunk of them.
There sure were.
That's what I want to know. Tell me that.
After you left, after you disappeared, I assume that chunky fella's with you. Where's his tin can?
Mm-hmm.
Stan Smith, the Inquisitor, also disappeared. The Inquisition got handed over to Sangrid Elmswitch, Black Mage. Yeah. When that Death Knight's armies came calling, she opened the doors for him and quit the field. They ran through the city. Everybody died. Not everybody. Something happened to the marketplace and the docks. They flashed out. Giant boom, cracks of thunder, and then reappeared about a year later. Maybe more. Gorn's been leading the resistance since then.
Who is Gorn?
Andrigan Gorn, the despot leader of the marketplace.
Got it.
And, well, I mean, once the dragon fell and once the city got thoroughly razed, the Death Knight, I guess, got his way and went off to whatever horrible reward he deserved. But the Bone Priest stuck behind and has been ruling with an iron, bony fist. There's a resistance. Gorn's been leading it. I've been fighting with it. I'm not a big fan of serve while you live or serve when you die. Thanks, no. I don't even like paying my taxes, let alone death. Sorry to bear bad news.
We knew it was bad news. There are some things that we've heard that made us suspect other things, given the bulk of our knowledge, but I appreciate the apology.
Hey, you know what? You seem to have lucked yourself into a way better spot. If I was you, I'd stick around here. You know what? I just might. Hey, until I can get the boys ship shape and worthy of the stage, extra security around here, they're probably more useful at that. I mean, I'll embarrass them on stage all you like. We could pass out rotten vegetables.
I don't know yet, but there is a potential for that, and I will definitely keep it in mind.
Great.
And heck, if the place works better for you, we've helped make it a not indecent place. To knock
well, I
him
hope you
off,
don't mind if I make it a little less decent.
To knock him off the subject, I'm going to tell some of the stories of Stan and Click Clack and myself battling giants. Just that bit.
Well, that sounds ridiculous. No wonder you got that shiny badge. That sounds like you earned it.
Give that back.
So, I'd love to hop back out there and see what I can do about wrangling up some of those bonds we talked about. You got anything else in this long, honest conversation?
So, Thomas, he said that he didn't have any, like, a very long connection with the one undead ninja. Nope. And I want him to tell me the story of how he got hired, so that if there's anything at all I can glean from it, and if you don't want to tell that story, just give me the bits I need to glean from it. Oh,
he'll tell you the story. His usual contact from the Thieves Guild showed up, said he had a job to meet with a thief at the edge of the city, smuggle it out to the swamp, and meet with the eventual buyer. He could take a cut and drop the gold off in the usual place. When he met the buyer the first time was when he got the red flag that, oh, this is bad. He's probably just going to kill me. And then you showed up.
So the only other question I want to ask him then is, so if you had the opportunity to leave, would you? Or do you have an answer to that yet?
Leave, like, the Feywild?
Yeah. It's framed as just a, like, just, yeah.
Well, I already missed the swamp a little bit. I won't lie, but boy, it's been a long time since I felt just, like, safe.
Oh, that's right. Y'all are really good at navigating a swamp.
Yep. That's true story.
That might be a thing we talk about in a little bit.
Oh. All right.
But for now, enjoy your time here.
Great. And he's out the door to refill his drink and go let his men know that they've got bunks. So days will pass. You guys are not called upon to do much of anything. You have time to yourselves if you want it. Anybody whose attention you want will give it to you. You are still. I mean, you are the acknowledged heroes. As the days pass, the party fades, but as it does, it start like little like huts will spring up, and a little patch gets farmed, and you will see like bits of moss that are vaguely sentient and like like plants with a face. Little plantlings will like run out and dive into gardens and sort of shift into some other vegetable. Just all of the things that were of the swamp are starting to either fit the mold of the new domain or head to the borders and go off to one of the other domains. You guys are informed that you have neighbors. Most of your border is Beatrix Merryword, but on one side is the massive maze that has it's a Feywild maze. It's the Fatagin, I believe it's called. Fatane. I don't know. Gaelic pronunciations are weird, but the crux of it is that you have that on one border, and on the other border is the Mercandraw, and there's an unseelie lordling on the other side of that border, who knows how he feels about this. So even though your domain itself has shrunk, the borders remain the same, because geography is malleable in the Feywild. Mapping it is fool's errand. It's how people go mad here. What are you guys doing those in that time?
I want to check out my tower.
Oh, all right.
But it looked a little different.
It does. It's furnished for one thing.
Wow.
There are. It's a 30-foot tower, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are 3 levels. The bottom level is a little like sort of dining room. There is a kitchen there with just a plate of food. You never see anybody prepare it. You never see anybody deliver it. But every time you go down there, like when you go in and you were a little hungry, there was a little food there. And always a full mug. The second level has brewing and smithing tools and a shrine to Moradin. And the third level is a Spartan warrior's bedroom. You're used to sleeping on a stone slab, and this is the comfiest stone slab that you would want. It's firm, nice and firm, not jagged though, nice and smooth. Not so much that your skin sticks to it. It's just pores. Racks for armor, weapons, well adorned. At the top, there is a spyglass mounted on a little swivel that from which you can survey the valley.
Did you guys ever play with the Elder Scrolls construction set? Yeah.
Oh, not the construction sets. No, that's.
They all came with the ability to make your own whatever. This is why modding was such a big part of it. And this is totally the house Stan would build.
So on the second level, it had smith's tools.
Yeah, smith's tools and brewer's tools.
Brewer's tools. Was there something else on that level too?
A shrine to Moradin.
That's what it was.
There are no windows on that level. It is dark and dry and hot like a forge. Bare metal on the walls.
Wow. Feywild is capable of many things. Usually it takes a wish spell to change these structures.
Well, you haven't shrunk it down. Who knows if they'll...
That's true. Maybe it might not stay. And then if we go back in time, will it still be the same? Well, I'll enjoy it while it's here.
All right. So Stan spends a little time figuring, like, this is another conundrum. So Trella will, like, when you guys are at a mealtime, she'll catch you like within a day or two and say and join you for the meal chit chat, small talk. So how are you fitting in? Feel like everything's good? To all of you, she's there at the table with you. Just to the group. You know, you feel like everything's good? If you feel like you've gotten your wits about you and sort of are through the worst of the transition?
I think so.
Okay. It's hard for all of us.
I'm waiting for something.
Well, good. Well, we'll have plenty of time. Meanwhile, there are going to be people and creatures here that are going to need our help through this time, who wish to become or remain Seelie, but Okay, there are obstacles, and as Knights of the Vale, it's part of your duty to see supplicants and do what you can. Most of what I have to do is oversee the whole thing. I'm stuck in the tower doing shuffling paperwork for a while, metaphorically. By that I mean actual metaphor papers. But I've already had a few with small issues, mostly judgments, mediations, conflicts between creatures. If say one wants to be Seelie and they own something at the same time, that's a lot of what I'm doing. But when there's something a little more adventurous, as Knights Errant, I hope you won't mind leaping at the chance.
Well, that seems to be what we do.
I've noticed. Well, speaking of all that tedious mediating I have to do, I have a meeting in about a half a bell. So, have a good day. Days and nights have been passing, by the way, like on a semi-regular basis. It's starting to get more into a pattern, but you know, at first it was completely out of whack.
I am waiting to get another sense of that thing that's running towards me. So.
Okay. When you get a quiet moment, you try to concentrate. You feel as though it's near, but rather than the sensation like you grabbed before, the memory that you pluck out, the thing that you end up concentrating on, is the formula to a spell. And that spell is fine, familiar.
Sort of in my case, that's going to be a song.
Indeed. But it also has a material component. There's lures and baits and incense and offerings that are required as well.
So, as a ritual?
I believe so. I think because of the pact you took, it's just that it's now on your spell list, and you can cast it.
Yeah, I'm looking. Oh, to first level. There we go.
Yeah. I think it's not much in the way of material goods, but it is something you have to cast, and it takes a minute.
It takes an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hold off on that until
and calling out to a thing and seeing what shows up.
I'm gonna hold off for a minute to do that in game because I want everyone else to have a chance on the pot because I just took it over for a minute. So.
Okay. And Stan explores his place, and then I imagine visits the tavern and gives rousing huzzas. Click Clack, what are you up to?
Click Clack has been spending the days updating his notes. He's keeping a very dry account of everything that has happened since we got here. Sketches of what people look like. He knows better than to draw maps, but he is good giving a, encyclopedia entry of what has happened so far. He's going over his equipment, making sure everything is in proper working order, rebuilding things that need to be rebuilt, all that stuff. Beyond that, he's doing a lot of... He's spending a lot of time talking to Lovelace.
Okay.
He doesn't avoid other people, but they have to engage. He's not seeking out other conversations.
Right.
But he's not being rude.
So on about the second day, as you're engaged in a conversation, probably in Gnomish over nothing with Lovelace, just chatting about the weather, you hear a voice at your door. Hello. Knock on the door frame. May I come in?
Sure.
Thank you. And in the door, you see a figure about your height, with just massive hair, just like thick, ropey strands of hair just waving back off his head like it creates a shell, and you see it trails back through the door. It looks like it's being held by something. My name is Chief Foreman Abada. Are you Click Clack the Giant Slayer?
Yes.
Well, I have a problem with giants.
So do I.
Great! I hope you might have a solution for me. And on that, we'll take a quick break.
And he shoots me in the eye.
Thanks for watching. We will continue soon. Your support means a lot to us, and we couldn't do this without you. If you like what you're seeing, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you want to see it get better, hop over to our Patreon. It's down in the doobly-doo. Thanks for watching. Have a good game.